Have you ever wondered why the most ruthless and violent people throughout history are always men? What about a murderous dictator, rebel military commander, serial killer, playground bully, again and again almost all men? Why us? Why men? Is it in our biology? Did we evolve this way? Or is there some broader cultural force at work? Today we are going to discuss the real truth about modern masculinity. A brief history. Back before drone strikes and cruise missiles, the people most adapted for conquest and discovery were invariably young men. One, because they were physically the strongest and most able, but also because they were disposable. If you want a new generation of children, you need a full generation of mothers to birth those children, but you only need a couple of men. Therefore, if you were young, broke, and unproven, you went to kill something and prove yourself. Masculinity has historically been all about three things. These are protector, provider, and procreation. The more you protect, the more you provide, the more you have sex, and the more of a man you are. For the most part, this is still widely considered masculinity today, although these three things look slightly different in different cultures. It's why a woman who speaks up at board meetings is seen as shrill, and a man who talks over people and demeans them in front of others is seen as bold and a strong leader. But this version of masculinity evolved for a particularly socially beneficial reason: to protect us from invaders and protect the town and kill bears and stuff. We needed men to have sex a lot because something like half of your kids didn't survive into puberty. We needed them to provide because you never knew when the next horrible winter was around the corner. This form of masculinity came at a cost both to the men in terms of their health and mortality, and to society in terms of violence and patriarchal dominance discounted. Who cares if men die, suffer, and lose their minds at startling rates? It's simply the price we pay for protection and prosperity, and babies. Problems today. The problem is that today things have changed. Violence has largely been automated or outsourced or just plain eliminated. Factory farms provide our food, small specialized militaries protect our borders. Given how economically interdependent and wealthy the world has become, violence has declined and two-service economies mean. Also, women are just as capable to work and earn a living as men are. In most professions, male advantages in strength and expendability are no longer necessary for a healthy society. The fact is that we're much more conscious and moral than we used to be. Therefore, the drawbacks of masculine aggression and dominance present not just economic liabilities, but ethical ones as well. Truth is, when all is said and done, the ancient bargain of strength, durability, and expandability for prestige, dominance, and tons of hot babes don't evolutionarily make sense anymore. The male body is becoming outdated tech. Nowadays, we need more father figures. You may have noticed in our households, the resounding answer usually is no, my dad didn't talk about those things. So where did we learn to become men with no one teaching virtue, character, or responsibility? This is where the alpha male emerges. Most young boys think the alpha man knows how the world works, so most other boys follow his lead. Sometimes the alpha male lands that leadership position. You see, the male identity is contradictory and ambivalent. It constantly wrestles with the feminine, absorbs it, then expels it. It purports to be tough and then reveals its fragility. We seek to hide neediness and intense feelings and privately cling to others. The walking paycheck men take on more dangerous jobs and are less likely to report any injuries suffered at work. Men work far longer hours, take fewer vacations and sick days, and suffer worse symptoms of chronic stress and fatigue. Men even die on the job at a startling rate. In short, most men treat themselves as nothing more than a walking paycheck, and in fact, it's this objectification of their own lives that kills men faster. For all of our cunning ambition, we regularly end up miserable, violent, and even suicidal. And for all of our self-sufficiency, we rely on women for our emotional and physical well-being to a startling degree. Ironically, manhood does not seem very manly now. There are no easy solutions. As men, we cannot magically and instantly turn our confusion and vulnerability into strength. We have to go into all the difficult feelings, the not knowing, the helplessness, and then also the raging fear and need that we have. A truly powerful man who is sensitive and emotional can cry, and can sometimes admit he can't cope. He can allow himself to be passive at times and can accept feeling powerless, but can also accept feelings of rage, brutality, and sadism, indeed the whole spectrum of emotions that human beings are privileged to enjoy. Not dealing with your emotional baggage can kill you or make you go crazy.